nothing but faith. There's things far too great that I want to accomplish. I'm hoping 25 hours a day, but something good works out, and I'm just like, dang. Think everything's gonna be okay. Yeah, I'm like, dang. Think you might just know the way. I'm like, dang.
Welcome to Dang.
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 I'm Todd Bridges.
And I'm Bettijo Bridges. And our guest today is Siarra Decomi, a transformational coach who helps people stop white-knuckling life and finally come home to themselves. She's also the founder of Wild Hooves, I can't say that, Wild Hooves Open Hearts, a nonprofit rescuing American mustangs and using the healing power of horses to help humans too. Today, Siarra's going to help us explore why our breakdown might actually be a breakthrough and how the parts of yourself you've been trying to fix might be the key to your freedom. Thanks for being with us,
Awesome.
Siarra.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
I've had horses. I used to have horses for like 15 years. I had horses.
Okay.
And they were always, when you're having a bad day,
Yeah.
to go ride your horse is really, really soothing emotionally
Very
and mentally.
How many
Therapeutic.
horses did you
I
have?
had two.
What were their
Sinbad and
names?
Sailor.
Wow.
What?
Sinbad and Sailor.
Sinbad and Sailor.
There were 17-hand quarter horses. They were
Wow.
tall, really big
Wow,
quarter
what
horses.
That's a
color were
big
they?
quarter horse, yeah.
One was dark brown and one was light brown. And but Sailor was the interesting one. He's the one that one time I was on a ride with him, and I'm running chasing my friend, and he decided to sidestep me to a tree.
The horse did?
Oh yeah.
He must not have liked you.
No, he was just playing messing around with me. So when I got
They
off,
do
I
that,
was
yeah.
pissed, and he knew I was pissed. He came back over and he's like, I'm like, don't try to be nice to me now. Yeah, it really sucks when they do that to you. I mean, like they know when you get on their back if you're afraid. They know it, and they'll take you for a ride.
Yeah,
of
they
your life.
feel it.
Yeah.
Were you in California then?
Yeah.
Where would you guys go riding?
I used to keep them at Circle K, so we go all the way up to top of the Burbank and all the way down to Hollywood.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, it was a lot
That's
of fun.
amazing.
Yeah.
And you've got horses.
I have, well, two horses under the nonprofit. So Samson
Okay.
and Q, and both of them we adopted out of the Bureau of Land Management program.
Oh, wow.
The system, the system is very broken. And once I got into coaching, I decided I really wanted to get into equine coaching, and went through some courses, and then was studying what was happening with the Bureau of Land Management and how they round up these horses inhumanely, and it broke my heart. And then I was down in Tucson working with a woman with her horses, and my Samson, my first horse, was there, and I literally fell in love with him. I was like, I don't know who he is, but I gotta have him. So
So there are wild mustangs in Arizona?
yeah, so they get rounded up through the Bureau of Land Management, and then they go to various different herd management association areas around in the West Coast. And then what happens is you can either adopt them out of the system, or if they don't get adopted, they get stuck in these tiny pens. Just horrific, you know,
Yeah.
spot for them where they're kind of fighting for food, and it's not a great scene. Or they get shipped out to buyers that may send them off to Mexico, Canada for food. So
And Canada sends them off to Japan for food.
yeah, exactly,
Oh, wow.
I saw that,
exactly.
yeah.
So then what happens is there's a woman down in Queen Creek, and she trailers them from various places. So Samson was picked up in Oregon, brought to Arizona for people who want to adopt them from here, and then my Q was picked up from Utah and brought out here.
How much is it to adopt them?
From the Bureau of Land Management, it's $125.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah,
But-
and they're untrained.
Yeah, they're about to say they're untrained.
You're like, it's a
Unbroken.
wild
Yeah.
Mustang.
Yeah, yeah.
Untrained and unbroken is what they
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
that means you have to find somebody to break them.
Well, ours are unbroken. They
Oh, okay.
will forever be unbroken. Yeah.
Also, you guys don't ride yours at all. You just keep them.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I may train Samson to ride. Actually, probably Q as well. She's pretty sweet with people. But there's a difference between breaking them and just riding
Yeah.
them. Breaking them is kind of like you're dominating them. You're
Yeah.
forcing them to do something. We're never going to do that to them.
How many hands is Samson?
He was 14.2 when I got him, but I think he's grown, and I haven't measured him since. So
Gotcha.
Mustangs generally are a little bit smaller
Yeah.
than some of the other breeds.
Wait, did you say how many hands is he?
That's what it is.
That's how
That's
they,
how you measure horses, but it's by hands?
No, but that's what they say. How many?
Yeah,
hands?
that's what it's called. Yeah.
That's the height.
How funny. I never knew that.
Yeah.
Wow. We learn something every day.
I know. I could talk about horses forever. So, yeah.
And you talked about equine therapy. So tell me, how do the horses
Yeah.
tie into the therapy?
Yeah, so I went through, so the short story is I spent most of my career in commercial lending and banking and finance and real estate, mostly helping people get access to money. And then a few years ago, I decided I would kind of branch out, and I was really, I've always been just really interested in helping people on a deeper level. And I was finding that over the course of years, people would come to me for various things just because we built a relationship.
Yeah.
So what do I do about my husband or my wife, or what do I do about this business partner? And so I'd end up coaching people regardless. And so anyway, I decided to branch out, and then through that journey, I got back to a dream I had in college about having a retreat center and having horses and having people be able to come out of their busy lives, get out of their busy thinking, and then really experience just what it feels like to be present and how much healing can take place because of that. So then that kind of branched off to learning about mustangs, and then adopting Samson and Q. So I do two different things. I do coaching for people and consulting, and then also I do we call it, technically I'm the reflective horse. I went through the reflective horse training. So I'm a TRH practitioner, and what we do is equine-guided empowerment. So essentially it's working with the horse. It's allowing us to kind of drop into our present body. We go through all these different somatic activities, helping people relax, helping people get out of their busy thinking. And then we do activities with the horses, because the horses are always living from that space. They have to. From living in the wild, or even just, regular horses, is they're tuned into their body. They know they can pick up on energies miles away.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
pretty dynamic. And just like you were saying with the writing, right? He was messing with you.
Oh, yeah.
And they can sense that. And so when you're working with them, they often show you what you need to see, and they're an amazing mirror and reflection on what you might be dealing with. So I've been trained on kind of how to read the horse and how to work with people and help someone to ask the right questions to the horse so that they get the answer back, and it's crystal clear.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you
always-
feel it in your body.
Yeah, that thing that people say dumb as a horse is not true. Horses are very smart. Smarter than you realize.
smart, yeah.
They're smarter than you realize.
Yeah,
and
well, and
people don't
it's a
realize that.
different smart, because
Yeah.
we're intellectually
Yeah.
smart, but they're intuitive smart, and
Yep.
I believe that we are as well.
Yeah.
It just, we forget, and we get so busy, and now we're scrolling and we're doing this and that, and so many things distract us from
Yeah.
being in our body and being present.
And because they're an animal, and this is like their only way of their mode of being.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's how they are, and we can learn from that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Interesting.
Right.
I wonder, I'm thinking of elephants. Our daughter is in Thailand right now, and
Yeah.
just
Elephants
had
are very smart,
visited
too.
the
Yeah.
elephants, and she was.
Completely,
They don't ride
yeah.
them there either, but they wash them and they
Yeah.
swim with them, and she just was.
Elephants have
such a
and
striking.
they also
Yeah.
have a memory. They don't forget things, and they're
Yeah.
as big as they are. I had a friend who was over in Africa, and he said that they were walking at night, and they were trying to spot elephants, and they had using the camera, and they said before they realized it, all they saw was a big eyeball looking in the camera, and they got that close without even hearing it, because they're so
Yeah.
gentle when they walk.
Yeah.
You think they're not gentle, but they are. And they didn't even hear it.
just
It
very
scared them.
quiet. It
Imagine
snuck
seeing a
right
big eyeball. You're like, hey!
An elephant sneaking
right
up
in the
on
camera.
you, like
Oh,
that
yeah.
seems like it couldn't happen.
Yeah, it can. It
And
can.
they're herd animals too,
Yes,
elephants. So
yes.
they I've heard that they mourn their
Oh, yes.
the loss of
yes.
the family members.
I've
and
watched a lot
whatnot.
of shows on it where
Yeah.
they don't leave for a while. They'll sit there when,
Yeah.
if someone passes away and mourn it for quite a
Are
while.
Yeah.
horses that same way?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you ever see just the videos from the Salt River horses, they live in herds, and there's basically we kind of trying to think of how fast I can share this with you, but In our program, we really teach people on how to tap into their lead mare energy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessarily female or male, even though the mare is the female,
Yeah.
but the lead mare in the herd is the one that everyone entrusts. They
Yeah.
say, she's the leader, she knows what's best
Yeah.
for us, and we follow her no matter what. And
Yeah.
so it becomes this really interesting
The
dynamic.
male is just the protector
Well,
and the breeder.
He's in the back.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually think that elephants have a female leader as well. Is that? am I
I'm
right?
not sure about
Elephants?
elephants yet.
I
Yes.
think that's right.
The bull is just the same
Interesting.
thing. He's the mater, and he's
Yeah.
the female is the one that leads them to water, leads them. They follow her everywhere.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Interesting.
So
How-
yeah, we really incorporate this in. I mean, your show's about family and whatnot, and
Yeah.
it doesn't. It's not necessarily meaning that women are that, but it's teaching people how to live from their sovereignty, how to live from their being able to create space for them on what they need. Because if we're all living from that space and we're not codependent, we're not relying on other people. We take back our power, and then also it's great in. I've done some corporate trainings as well where there's a CEO and there's everyone else, but teaching people how to really live from their sovereignty and take their leadership seriously. Whether you're picking up trash cans or you're the CEO, we all have the ability to take full responsibility for our life, and that's part of what we do in the program with the horses.
Yeah, what I was taught in the program is if you don't if you don't make yourself happy, you can't make anyone else happy.
Exactly.
And a lot of times people think that they give, and then they're burned out. But the secret is to give to yourself first, then you can give to others, then you never get
Yeah.
worn out. But you have to give to yourself, otherwise it's not going to work.
100%.
How did you personally find yourself coming to this point where you're doing this kind of work?
I have no idea. It's so funny because it's never been planned, and I've been reflecting on this quite a bit in my world. Just how much do we plan? How much of what we plan ever actually comes to fruition? And we
Yeah.
think we have this control over our life when I'm really questioning, do we have any control at all?
No,
I
would
a
agree
meme.
with that.
I saw a meme on Instagram last night that said, "I'm not in charge of my life. I just pick the outfits. I just pick the wardrobe." And I was like, "That's actually a really good way to look at it."
Exactly, yeah.
Because, like,
It's
what
true.
are the things we literally have control over?
Yeah.
And
Right?
it's true because if you look at it, the richest men in the world can't stop themselves from dying.
Right.
So you really have no control.
And
Just
actually,
living the life
I
that we're
find-
supposed
Well,
to.
I don't think it's good to say we have no control because, like, I liked how she was saying. I like how she was saying. Identify what I do have control over.
That's
I
your
just pick-
actions.
I just pick the outfits, right?
But-
I
but
have
your
control
actions
over
are the
how
only
I
thing we have
look,
control over.
how I show up. Because I do think it can be detrimental to say we have no control, because that feels like that's
Vulnerable,
not,
right?
There-
Yeah.
that doesn't empower us. and
Because a
give us
lot
a
of people
sense
don't want to feel vulnerable. That's
Exactly.
why.
Right,
They don't
and
wanna
I
admit
think it's
this-
good to recognize like the point of what you were saying is that there's a lot in our life we do not have control over,
It's
but
a
it
great
doesn't mean
question.
we have no control.
The only thing you have control over is your actions. That's it.
And what I'm wearing. I got to pick what I'm wearing right now.
But maybe
Your
you were
actions-
guided.
your
Maybe you were
actions-
guided
but
by
your
your
actions
higher
allowed
self.
you to be able to buy that. So there you go.
Right.
It's a big question, though, right? And it's
Yeah.
one that
Yeah.
everyone has an opinion about. So
That's why
it's
you
fascinating.
you have to be thankful when you wake up every morning. That's not even
Yes.
guaranteed.
For sure.
I
For
can't
sure.
tell you how many people take a nap and don't wake up. It's ridiculous, but
Yeah.
that's not guaranteed.
Right.
I've always learned in the program that the only thing that's really guaranteed are my actions. That's it. What I do and how I react to something is the only thing I'm really in control of. That's it. Everything else is a gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to answer your question more directly, I felt like most of my life I'd spent trying to control everything and everyone, myself, being disciplined, being this, being that, or people around me, because I don't know, I was uncomfortable or fearful or whatever. But then I finally got to a point where I was like, I'm gonna just see how stuff goes and put one foot in front of the other. And it was like, I like to use the analogy or metaphor of like those old school video games where the road is moving.
Yeah.
That's how it feels for me, is like, I don't know what's happening, but the road is moving, and so I'm just gonna start walking. And that's kind of how this horse thing showed up, was like, I know I want to work with horses, and then here's my Samson in Tucson. I met him, fell in love with him, found a beautiful property that we're renting right now for, it's a full acre pasture, so the horses have freedom, flexibility,
Yeah.
they're not stuck in stalls, and just one thing after the next just keeps unfolding. And I'm enjoying watching to see what will happen next, because I have no idea.
My horses were in pastures.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it always took me at least an hour to catch them. Because he would let me get close and he'd run away. And I'm like,
They like
So-
to give you a hard
oh,
time.
yeah. So finally I'd be like doing something else and he'd come to me like, aha.
Yeah, that's how you do
Yeah.
it. You
Yeah.
just ignore them, and then they're
Yes.
like, "Ooh,
Then
you're
they didn't want to
interesting."
come over and hang out with you then. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, he used to just take off all the time.
Yeah, that's actually what we do in our programs. Is like, if you start chasing them around, they
Oh, yeah.
are not going to come to you. You just let them come.
Yeah.
You drop into your body,
Yeah.
and you breathe, and you allow, because then they're like, "Ooh, I like that energy.
Oh, yeah.
It's familiar to
Yeah.
me." So
Okay, you just said drop into your body. What
Yeah.
do you mean by that?
yeah, so I use the phrase a lot just because it's kind of a good visual, but so many times we're overthinking, we're thinking, and it's a blessing and a curse to be a human, to have the ability to think, but we do overthink. We think about the future, we think about the past, we think about what's for dinner, we think about, should I have said this or that, or it goes on and on and on. And there's no way to really stop it, but there's a way to be more aware of it. And part of that is being able to drop into your body. I use breath quite a bit. I mean, that's a really simple way to just get yourself present.
Are you kind of meaning like pulling yourself out of your head and more into your body instead of being just up here in your
Yeah,
head? Is
exactly.
that kind of what you mean by that?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just it's dropping in, allowing the thinking to settle down, because sometimes we're mechanical. We're going through our day and we're doing dishes, but we're still thinking. So it's like we're not present. We're not in our body. We're somewhere else. So the dropping into the body is like relaxing, allowing the calm, the thoughts to settle down so that you can be present. And then new thoughts can come in. And that happens automatically. We don't really have to plan that or make it happen. It just is, if we allow it, it opens up.
So on your website, it's trueleverage.net. You have an ebook called You're Coming Home.
Yeah.
And there's a part in there where you say, you're not broken, you're in a portal. Can you
Yeah.
explain what that means?
Yeah, it's just that I know that because of all the thinking we have, that we tend to think that there's something wrong with us. And we need to fix something. We need to change something. We need to better ourselves. It's just this constant cycle. I'm using the treadmill metaphor quite a bit lately, because that's what we get trapped in so many times. I need to make more money, or I need to do this. And so it's just this constant, when really we are innately wise. We are innately perfect. We are innately, I mean, look at a baby, they're perfect. Right? Until the thinking starts in that there's something wrong with us. So it's kind of like, I say portal just because you're in a space where you're moving through something, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything wrong with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And like if you compare that analogy of a treadmill to what you were just saying about like the video games where like things are coming at you.
Yeah.
And like the one where if you're so focused and like in that deep, there's nothing more coming.
Yeah.
And you miss what is actually coming.
Exactly.
Right? You're not
Right.
seeing it because you're focused on this instead of seeing all these things coming. I used to play that Oregon Trail game. Do you remember that?
No.
Oh my gosh, it was so old. Did you ever play Oregon Trail? This was like, we're talking, I played
real
it.
video games.
Well, no, this was one of the ones that we at school,
On a big
they would
floppy?
come, no, they
Yeah.
would bring the trailers with the computers in
Yeah,
them.
but it was a big floppy.
You're
that it
probably
was in.
too old for this. But they would bring these trailers and they would have all these little like Apple IIe, whatever computers, the ones that were like black with green.
Yeah. Super
And
old
you
school.
would go out to the computer lab and get familiar with the computer, and we would play Oregon Trail.
I was thinking more like the Pac-Man or the one equivalent in the Atari days,
Well,
right?
Pac-Man, nothing's coming at you though.
Yeah, no,
going
but there was
around
the
the
other
little-
equivalent one that was like a racing
where-
game.
They had like
Yes,
Berserk.
yes.
They had Frogger. They had all those.
Oh my
new
gosh, I
games.
love
yeah,
Frogger.
yeah, right.
Frogger is a good game.
Berserk. I let Spencer play Berserk I have an old Atari system. I let him play it, and he
Yeah.
was like, "This is so boring." When he was like 10, I was like,
I actually
Because
still
it's not
like
3D, you know, it's just like dimensional.
I still like
And
the
things
old
are
games.
coming at you. You shoot
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
little thing and things are like,
So boop,
you just-
boop,
you just-
boop,
all you can do is go up and down. That's it. There's no
Right,
forward,
right.
there's
Left,
nothing.
right,
That's all
up,
it did.
down.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, Oregon Trail was great. We were just talking recently too about Where in the World or Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego. I played that when I was like in 5th grade.
Yeah,
That was
remember
actually
game.
super fun.
And you haven't played a video game since, have you?
Oh yes, I have definitely played a video game since 5th grade, but just not recently. I'm not a big video gamer now.
I'm a streamer. I'm a big video gamer.
You play video games?
I don't know. I think
VR,
the
no?
last one I did was my son had a VR set, and I was terrified. I was literally screaming, like, it's so scary. I thought I was going to fall off a
I
cliff.
played a scary VR game.
They
My
make
problem
me
is I
sick.
get that's what happens to me. I get sick from it.
I
Yeah.
get
I
sick
can't
too.
like
It's a lot.
because it's moving and you have to move. For some reason, it's not translating to my brain properly. And
Yeah.
I always I'm gonna throw up. I'm like,
Yeah.
which is terrible.
That's how
Yeah, I was
felt,
at Universal Studios, and so many of the rides now are that like VR.
But those
Yeah,
things
yeah.
don't get me.
They
those
make me
don't get
so sick.
It's
Yes.
only when it's around like this. When it's like this, it
Yeah.
doesn't bother me. But when it's on my head like this is the problem I have. Because I think my body can translate what's happening when
Yeah.
I'm just looking at all
Or
around.
if you have to
Yeah.
move around. That was
Yeah.
mine was like a cliff or like something you had to walk around, and it felt so freaky because I know I'm not in touch with the real world because I'm
Yeah.
in this VR world.
Yeah.
So I don't know, am I going to run into something?
Yeah.
Or, yeah. Anyway.
That is funny. I was just up on in Seattle with my kids, and we were up on the Space Needle.
Okay.
And they have one of those rotating platform, but it's got windows, so you're standing
yeah.
on glass that's rotating like way high.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was trippy. Like I was having a really hard time getting myself to like take steps.
Yeah.
Because I was getting dizzy and disoriented just because of all
Everything,
like the
yeah.
sensory processing. My brain was like, this is not safe. It was very confusing. So, okay, did we talk about the you're not broken, you're in a portal? So it's
Yes.
basically that you're in a space where
Yeah.
things are changing and flux.
Exactly. Yeah, and if you can imagine a portal, it's like you're walking through something that's all around you, but you're still safe, you're still okay, you're not broken. You just need to get outside of the portal, like the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. Well, and how do you get out?
Well, there's no real out, you know? I mean, to me, life is like a big game, right? And I'm really looking at all the labels we put on things on good and bad. And because it's so many times if we say, well, this thing is bad, but we're not getting the benefit of something that we could be getting from it. Meaning like there's some lesson to learn, there's some space to grow into. And so I think I lost track of your question.
But yeah, so the portal is not something necessarily that you're meant to get out of. It's that recognizing that you're going to stay there.
Well, not necessarily, no. I mean, it depends on what the situation is. If it's, say you're going through like a divorce or something, the portal is like the space that you're in through that process. So you're not broken, there's nothing wrong with you. You're going through the portal, and then you may get out of the portal only to find another portal that you need to go through.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
It's just kind of a metaphor, kind of visually to help people see that you're in a space, you're in a season that's not forever, and there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think a
The
lot of
biggest
people,
takeaway.
they get in these situations, they think they're forever, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're only temporary. And I know what I try to convey to people is, if you think that you need money to make you happy, something's wrong.
Right.
You need to be happy with right where you are. And I think for me, for God to continue to bless you and give you what you want, you have to be happy with where you are.
Yeah.
Why should he take you over here if you're not happy? I'm good right here.
Yeah.
I want to go here, but I'm okay right here too. And I think a lot of us, we look too far forward. And the one thing about the program is all you have to do is look at the next day.
Yeah.
Because you look at just today because you're not in the next day yet. You don't look behind you. You don't look in front of you. You wait till you get to that next day to worry about that day.
Yeah.
The problem is people are so worried about, what am I going to do this? And it's like, at the end of the day, you're going to be okay. You just have to realize that in your own head. And I think people takes time for people to realize that.
For sure.
You also
Yeah.
talked about a keyword of deconstruction, which
Yeah.
was actually really vivid to me at, kind of this middle stage of life that I feel like I'm in. Drawing another metaphor from the animal world, but kind of like that metamorphosis, like that snakes or reptiles
Yeah.
when they're shedding
Yeah,
skin.
yeah.
Is that tell us about that idea of deconstruction?
Yeah, and I think that's a really good analogy. A way to put it is that you're shedding the stuff that didn't work for you. And there's a really great book I read by Robert Scheinfeld. I don't know if you've ever heard of. It's called the Busting Loose from the Money Game, and it's about money, but it's not about money. It's really about spirituality and life, and he uses these analogies of phase 1 and phase 2. And phase 1 is where you're kind of forgetting who you are. Like phase 1 is the game where you're kind of forgetting about who you are. So you're chasing your tail, you're chasing the money, you're doing all this stuff. And then when you go into phase 2, and it's not like there's necessarily an age to it, but I would say midlife-ish is probably a really time when people start adventuring into phase 2, where they realize, do I need all this stuff? Am I okay who I am? And they get more comfortable with who they are, but a lot of people go through a deconstruction phase right there, where you're going from this old self into the new self, where the new self is more humble. The new self is more grounded and spiritual and open and honest, and not trying to look like their neighbors and be like their neighbors and, compare themselves to other people. So but there's a part that can be really ugly and really messy. And I love helping people through that part, because it's it's scary. And I went through it early in my 20s, but I didn't have the spiritual grounding to really take it in. So I kind of stored it. Let me put it in the back of my mind of these realities I saw. But then it wasn't until my 40s that I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Now I'm ready to go through this space, because I am grounded, and I know that everything's going to be okay, and I know that I'm okay.
And is it kind of about taking those steps, making those choices to actually embrace changing your life into what you would rather it be? Is that kind of the
yes and no, because it's like there's an action and an inaction. It kind of depends, because everybody's different and everybody's life is different, and how it shows up for them is different. So that's why I love working with different people, because everyone goes through life slightly different. I had that experience in my 20s, but then I had another experience in my late 30s where I had a medical challenge, and it floored me. I mean, that was the thing that kind of catapulted me into a different way of viewing life, where I'm like, okay, God is telling me to slow down and really look at what I need to look at in order for me to see these changes that I need to allow to happen. It's almost like you're coming into a co-creation, so that you're not necessarily doing it, but you are doing it. And it's really hard to put into words, because it's more of an experience.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've lost so many people into weird ways that I look at my life and know that I am blessed to still be here, because, all the crazy things I've done, trying things, and, end up living through it, not dying from it. And I realize that when you get to a certain age, it's time to do things that are safe, keep things in the safe lane, because I don't think that I'd die, but I'd be really messed up, and that's worse.
Yeah.
For me, I want to be able to walk around and do things still, and not be, stuck in a wheelchair because of my stupidity,
So no more trapeze.
No,
and no
I'm
more,
not doing that no more. I tell you, I did all that.
Skydiving.
No, I would never do that. Are you kidding me? Nah, I ain't doing that. I mean, why would I jump out of a perfectly good plane? But I do know I'm not in control of the plane when I'm up in it, and I'm okay. If that's my time, then I can't do anything to stop it.
Yeah.
But no more. I wouldn't do trapeze. No way. That's dangerous.
He
now.
did that at one point,
Wow.
but
For like 6 years straight.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was the only person in this show that we did that did the double front, double back, and then back.
Wow.
And then I look there now, I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking.
Was there a net?
Yeah, there's a net, but you can't see the net when you're 75 feet up.
Oh my
so
gosh.
basically you see nothing down there.
Wow.
And actually, the one time when you did fall, that was when you were
that
done.
was after my 6th season. I was like trying the triple, and I tried the triple, and I made it to his hands, and I slipped off his hands. Now, a week before that, the same thing happened with another guy, but he missed that little back net, which is only like 3 feet, 4 feet.
Oh my gosh.
He missed it, hit his head, emergency room, and then he didn't even know who he was anymore.
Oh,
So
yeah.
on my way back, that's how you tell you life slows down. On my way to that back net, I saw my whole life flash before my eyes. I was
Yeah.
like, I am done with this. And I hit it. I was like, oh, I'm glad I hit it. I came down and I landed. And I was like,
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
done. And they're like, you can't quit. I'm like, I quit. I'm out of here.
Done.
And then they go, well, can you try the lion act? They want me to try the lion act before I left. So I was like,
He was
fine.
in the circus.
Yeah, so
Circus of the Stars.
So I went and they gave me a chair and a whip, and they said, "Now step into the lion cage." Step into the lion cage. They shut one door, and I opened the other door, and shut the other door, and I see these 3 giant lions, and they're big, and they were male lions too, and they're looking at me, and they're like, I went, mm-mm. I said, they look at me like cooked meat. I'm out of here. Let me out. I'm done. I was like, let me out. Like, no, I'm not going. Like, no. And then I found out a week before that one of those lions struck this woman really bad and hurt her, like he broke her leg. I'm like, man, no, I'm done. I said, this
They
is too
just
risky.
put you in there with no training?
No, they wanted me to make sure I was okay with it. No training at all. Make sure I was okay with it.
God.
Oh yeah.
You're like,
That
answer
is
is no, I am
wild.
not
Yeah.
okay with it.
Because you have to get
That's
past
not
that
what
fear.
you mean by deconstruction, right?
Sometimes
way.
it feels that way, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's these lions. What am I going to do?
Oh, I used to like walk into a room before I used to walk into a room and thought everyone was mad dogging me and saying bad things about me. And for me, I realized that's ego, it's self.
Yeah.
To actually think that everyone is so concerned with me,
Yeah.
when it's just not true. You walk in the room, no one's because they may look at you, but they're not concerned with you.
Yeah.
They're
thinking about them.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Yeah.
about them, but they're not thinking about me. They're thinking about what's the conversation or something else. And it took time for me to realize that in my head, I had to get my own head together. So what I had to learn was things in my head can be broken. When I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, what I'm seeing, because someone could say something and I'll get a totally different feeling from it. And they may have just said it nonchalantly, but I'm going to take it and think, oh my gosh, they said this about me. They don't like me. They're saying this about me. Oh, I hate that person now. And it's not even true. They're not even thinking that or saying that. I'm just feeling that
Yeah.
inside because of my own insecurities and how I feel about myself. That's why when I've learned to calm down and feel good about myself, I don't care what people think about me. It doesn't matter. I know what I feel about me. I don't care what you think about me. If you don't feel that way about me, that's your problem. You lost out on a good person. So that's what it took me time to realize that, but that's
Yeah.
what I finally figured out.
So what do you do to calm yourself down?
Me now?
Yeah.
I'll go game. I go stream. I go hang
Yeah.
out and watch TV. Those are a lot of things that I do.
Yeah.
I'll go outside with the dogs, or I sit with my dogs too.
Yeah.
Or just walking. I'll go sit outside. If I'm really upset, I can go sit outside and just be with nature.
Yeah.
I've always found that nature is a very soothing and calming thing. So, I mean, that's why I watch a lot of nature videos. That's
Yeah.
something that's very calming and soothing.
Yeah.
I think but horses were my favorite thing to have. When I had my
Yeah.
horses, you go for a nice ride. It was really nice. With
Well,
the
you
horse,
guys
and the
come
horse.
by anytime.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I would
Definitely.
definitely love to have you there
Yeah.
and meet the horses.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about one other thing that you'd mentioned. You talk about shadow work a little bit and the
Yeah.
kind of
Wait, what is that?
the dark spots that you try to avoid.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so it's funny because in the self-help or self-growth or whatever, personal development, whatever you want to call it, shadow work would always come up. Like every program I would do or and it would always drive me crazy because I'm like, all right, fine. Like digging into the stuff from your past that would drive you crazy, that really upset you, that, did all this stuff, so you write it out and you do all this stuff.
We call that a fourth step. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I always felt like, okay, now I'm just angry. Like now I'm just upset and there's no real like getting it out. Like it just felt like I just feel shitty again. And so I came across a book, actually, I read a lot, but this woman, Carolyn Elliott, and she wrote the, now I'm forgetting the name of it. Anyways, I'll come up with it. The incredible book about a different way of viewing shadow work. And that's really, again, kind of getting in touch with your body, getting in tune with your body, but you pull up something that maybe you don't like. Like say you, someone looked at you at the grocery store wrong and it was really bothering you. And so you pull this experience up and you feel it in your body, and you feel it like every sensation in your body that you can imagine, until you start to see that the feeling is the same. The upset feeling could be the same feeling as joy. And the feeling starts to meld together, kind of going back to what I was saying about labels, like just kind of getting rid of labels, because there's no real good or bad. So when you go through this experience and you really feel the sensations of your body, you realize, okay, this is okay, like no matter what it is. And so doing this over and over again with whatever it is, kind of having fun with it, you learn this new pleasure around the stuff that might have been bothering you. And it becomes almost comical, like, oh my gosh, because you start to feel it in your body like completely differently, and becoming more aware of tuning into your body and how things feel as they come in and how quickly they go out when you do stay present with your body. So it's kind of a different take on shadow work than I've ever come across before.
I don't think I understand how, so feeling this negative, how does that cross over to feeling good? Like, I'm missing that piece. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's hard to explain in words. You have to like experience it to know what I'm talking about. And it took me a really long time to even feel the sensations in my body, because I was so busy thinking about whatever the thing really was. It's a little bit of a meditation. And so Existential Kink, that's the name of the book. So in case
Existential what?
Kink.
Kink.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she takes it a step further. Like she takes it to the point where you're actually, as she calls it, getting off on the experience of this thing, this drama, this whatever it is. And because going back to, do we create our own reality or not? And so as we take in these experiences and feel them in our body, going through the process, you start to see, feel, and notice that all of the sensations are the same. Whether it's me being angry or me being anxious, it's a very similar feeling, to the point where you go, oh, it's just all the same. So why is it I'm getting upset about this thing? Or maybe I'm really enjoying getting upset by this thing. And that becomes where it's like, oh, okay. So it's okay to get upset at the grocery store when someone looks at me wrong, because I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, some people, you're right. Because I think like some people will come in a household and spread their toxicness all around because it makes them feel better. Is that
like the people that you're like, oh, they're such a drama queen. They stir up the drama.
Yeah, they like
because
they like
it.
They enjoy it. That kind of idea.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the part, that's kind of where the shadow comes in, is realizing that we're made up of all kinds of stuff, right? And so sometimes we think, well, I want to be a good person. And of course, we all do, right? But embracing the fact that maybe you do create drama in your life. Like, hey. And so my boyfriend and I have this like fun game that we play when we're dealing with something. Like, oh, I'm just getting off on this right now. Like something dramatic. Like he's dealing with his elderly mother, and there's lots of stuff going on there. So he'll tell me about the day and what happened, and he goes, but I realize I'm getting off on it. And so it becomes almost kind of a joke, because we realize, we actually, we are creating this stuff because we get some kind of a pleasure out of it.
Yeah.
I've been reading a book right now called The Obstacle is the Way.
Oh, okay.
And I feel really bad because I can't think of who wrote it, but I'll put it in the show notes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying, but I can't think of the name. I've just started it. I'm only like a couple chapters into it. But it's about stoicism and how this idea that the challenge, and I believe this is something I've actually encountered in other, therapy and work, that the outside circumstances carry no emotion, right? They're emotionless.
Yeah.
They are neither good nor bad. They are just neutral.
Exactly.
And that it's the story, it's what we assign them ourselves, that's what takes the meaning. Our perception of these circumstances, that's what gives them a negative or a positive slant.
Yeah.
And that we get to essentially choose which way we want to go by what thoughts we allow to stick and entertain.
Yeah.
And it's even so far as what they're really focusing on right now in the book is this idea of staying very neutral and not reacting, that neither getting excited or getting, fearful.
Yeah.
That allowing neither of the emotions to touch you, that when they present themselves to you, that you can let them go either way. And he's bringing out figures from history and identifying how this was very useful to them and just being very, pragmatic as they faced obstacles by saying, well, this is neither good nor bad, right? Like this is just the circumstance. Kind of like going back to like the video game. This is just what's popped up here.
Yeah.
And anyway, I'm really enjoying this book as but it's
similar, except this is I would say it's similar but the opposite because this allows you to go through the entire experience of being a human. We're here to feel. We're here to experience. If we try to push away the shadow, the darkness, the whatever, that's a part of us that wants to be heard. And so this is more about integrating it to where you do realize it's a story and it's an illusion and it's being made up, but you're fully embracing all of it.
And I think what you're talking about too is dealing somewhat in the past a little bit too, helping you kind of like work through things that have maybe been dragging you down or holding you back.
Not necessarily. No, I mean, it could be anything that pops in. Yeah. And it can be the past for sure. Yeah, you can look back at, but you could take something, for example, like if you're not making enough money and it really bothers you, like that's happening right now. So I'm not saying for me, I'm saying if that is happening for someone, they can use that as like, let me feel it in my body. Let me work through this process and really feel it, experience it, and then see what starts to pop up around, maybe I am enjoying this on some level. So it's not an intellectual process, and that's why it's hard to explain in a book. It's hard to explain on a podcast. It's hard to explain because it's a feeling.
Because that example, like you're giving, I'm like, I am having a hard time taking that leap that somebody, especially like that example that you gave of like, I'm not making enough. How are they going to I'm not making enough money. I'm going to sit here and dwell on this and try to really feel this, and then I'm going to see that I'm enjoying that. Like I can't make that leap. Like I can't connect those.
Yeah.
My logic and my brain is just saying, no, that's not going to happen. They're not going to sit there long enough thinking about how I wish I made more money and then start to feel like, well, actually, I enjoy not making as much money as I would like to make.
I know. And then
so do you think it doesn't work in every case, or do you think it's just that it...
Well, nothing that I do is like a tool or a technique. It's really more about things that could open people up to possibly seeing their life differently and possibly experiencing their life differently. Because if we live in our thinking head all the time and we aren't experiencing our life and our body and our feelings, then what are we doing here, right? I mean, So
I think sometimes people think they overthink things and think too much. And I think that slows you down in your life. When you're trying to do something, instead of just doing it, you're thinking about it. Like if you really thought about how dangerous driving really is, would you drive or do you just drive?
Well, and I think you're exactly right. And I think so many of the ways that we avoid the thinking rather than like embracing it and leaning into it is we turn it off, right? Like we escape it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's something that a lot of us will do. We escape from the feeling. But I like this idea that instead of escaping it, no, let's actually lean into it. Let's lean into it and let's
because you're trying to fix it, right? Trying to fully embrace it so you can fix it.
Yeah.
Or just allow it, because I mean, there's some science that's out there about when a feeling comes in, you start to feel something. It literally, if you don't do anything about it, it comes in and out within 45 to 90 seconds.
Yeah.
So imagine like you get fearful. And rather than like, oh my God, I'm going to die, you know, or whatever, you just sit with it and just allow it to go through you. And then it's gone.
And then it resolves.
It makes sense because it's just like if you get bit by a rattlesnake If you panic, you die fast.
Right, right.
If you don't panic and you just go, okay, I need to do this, and you take your time, it's not going to go through your body as fast.
Yeah.
So it's not going to hit everything. And that's exactly the
Right,
way
because
you
you
do
don't want
it.
to like speed up
No,
your heart
if you
pumping.
get all
Yeah.
crazy and all
The
of a sudden
adrenaline and
the adrenaline
everything,
blood runs
yeah.
in, and all of a sudden now you're taking it all through your body. But if you just say, okay, I got bit, what I'm supposed to do, suck
Yeah.
it out, or whatever you're supposed to do, you do the steps, and you have a better chance of living than you do if you panic.
So staying calm.
And that's in any situation.
Any
If you
situation,
panic
yeah.
in any situation, there's chances are something bad can happen. If you don't panic and just get through it, you'll be fine.
Well, and actually, I don't know how spiritual, like in the traditional sense you are, but like we believe very much we're Christians, and in the Bible and in Scripture, he talks about not fearing so many times.
Well,
right?
yeah, because
and warning
definitely.
us
Right.
that fear is not healthy. It's not helpful.
I think fear is what keeps us from moving forward, and the whatnots in our head all the time. We're always like, what,
Yeah.
what if,
What
what if,
if,
what if,
yeah.
what if? It could be, you can't think what if. You just have to, okay, what am I supposed to do? I'm going to do this step and do step. And I think that for me, I know when I've done all the work I can to move forward and I'm not moving forward, then it ain't time for me to move forward.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. We, as humans, we're like, I've done everything I could do, move forward, I got to go over and try this, and then we're getting all panic and frizzed out, but it just may not be your time yet.
Yeah.
It's like, if you talk to successful millionaires that have made it, they've had 1 million failed businesses.
Right.
They just keep trying, keep trying. Then it finally pushes forward, and they're like, okay, this is the one I'm going to stay in. But we get fearful. We move somewhere, and this is not working. I don't know. I got to change the route. Now you've wasted all the time you put into this business. You try to move over to this one, and now you know them all, but you're a master of none. And I think that's what really keeps us and messes us up.
Yeah, definitely. The overthinking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's about to work, and then you switch because
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's
So much time.
your
Yeah.
blessing is right at the door, and
Right.
then you go somewhere else, and then now you've lost that whole entire blessing that you waited for.
Yeah.
Siarra, this has been so fun. What is
Yes.
one shift that you think people can make today to start putting these ideas kind of into action?
I would say, we're gifted with this breath, right? And so breath can really help you ground in. I always say if you're sitting down, you sit down, you put your feet on the ground, or if you're standing up, feet on the ground, and you just take 5 really slow breaths in and out. And visualize like the energy from the earth coming up into your body and into your head. And do that 5 times, and I guarantee you, it'll be different. Like whatever it is you're dealing with, it'll help calm you down, get you present. And I don't see this as a tool or a technique, but it's just one thing that we have accessible to us at anywhere we go.
That kind of draws you, like you said, dropping into your body, helping
into
you
your
to drop
body.
into your body.
Yeah, and into
draw
the
you out of
present
your head.
moment. Exactly. And then nature, I always say, if you can get out in nature and just be in nature.
Yeah, because what I
So
always tell
good.
people is everything that we're made up of is in nature.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
out there. It's there, and that's what we're made up of.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realize that, but even the energy that comes from Earth, we have the energy in us. You
Yeah.
know, and you can feel it. If you get out in the right place, you can feel everything. I really believe that. And that's why I've always been a big nature watcher, animal watcher, because I think animals are they're very good at just doing what they need to do
Right.
to make it. They're very good at that.
Yeah.
They don't get sidetracked by everything else like we do
Yeah.
as humans. We get sidetracked. That's why I think our brains get us really sidetracked from what we should be doing. Animals are very singular focused when they need to be.
Yeah.
We got to go 100 miles, and they go 100 miles. They walk until they find what they want looking for.
Yeah.
We
Such
would
a
stop
good
and go,
example
snake,
to us.
mosquito, they just keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. This has been so great.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank
it's
you.
ToddFlix time.
Yes, today my flicks are on The Rookie. It's a TV show that you can actually stream on Hulu. You can stream it on Hulu. All
And
the
it's an
episodes-
ABC show. It's still going,
It's
right?
still going. They're in season, I believe, 12. They're going to season 12, I believe.
I mean, speaking about like a midlife.
Season 7. Well, yeah, this guy, Nolan, his name is Nolan in the show. He decided to become a police officer at 40 years old. And everyone was messing with him, calling him names, but he thought that he could bring something special to being a police officer because he got going through a divorce. He wanted his life to be different, so he moved to California and became an LA police officer. And involved in that, he meets all these other rookies, and he's like the oldest rookie. Everyone else is like, 21, 22, 23, and he's like, 40.
40.
So they're always calling him the old guy. Hey, you're an old dude.
But he's bringing lots of life experience.
Yes, he's
to
bringing
the
tons
job.
of life experience to the job, which is how to treat people, how to talk to people, and how to get through things. And he's very good at it. He's actually very good at it. And his real name is, I forget, I can't see.
Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion. Yeah, that's his real name. And then also, if you ever watched, what was the show?
Saving
Private Ryan. He's like 26 in Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's in a lot, and he's actually #1 right now as far as being. He's played the most characters for Marvel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's played so many characters for Marvel.
I actually love him. He's really one of my favorite
He used to be in a
actors right
TV
now.
show also called High Castle. He was
Or
in
not
that,
High Castle, Castle.
Castle.
A detective
Okay.
show. If you watched
Yeah.
Castle,
I don't
you
know
would
that
like
one.
that.
Yeah, he was in
Okay.
Castle too.
It is a really
Maybe that'll
good
be my
one. It
next
takes
one.
place in New York.
It's kind of like
and he's a
Remington Steele, a
writer.
little bit like
Okay.
Yeah, and but he has this muse that's NYPD cop.
that. Yeah.
It's so good.
It's
Oh,
kind of
nice.
like Remington Steele. If you ever look
Okay,
back at
yeah.
those
Is there?
shows.
Is that what it is?
Kind of similar to these
kind
shows.
of inspired by?
Yeah. But it's a really good show. You can stream it. You'll like it. You'll like all the people in the show, and it's a very well mixed of minorities and everyone's in this show.
Yeah.
It's not a show that just has one race. Has
Yeah.
everybody in this show.
Okay.
It's the
And it's
seventh
extremely
season,
good,
and
yeah.
it is a good one.
It's really, really good. And I think that you'll like it, and you can stream it on Hulu.
Nice.
Well, dang.
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 Thanks for coming so much. Thank you so much for having
Thank you.
Please watch you guys, like, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Dang is produced by my wife, Bettijo Bridges, in collaboration with Star Worldwide Network Studios, and edited by our daughter, Adelie Ann.
She's also the musician responsible for our theme music, so go check out Adelie Ann wherever you stream your music. Have a question or topic you want us to cover? Send us your suggestions at dangpodcast.com.
Do me a favor. Please subscribe and rate our podcast to make it easier for others to find. Have a great week.
Yeah,